Hey you guys, it's Unique When Unique Travels TV, and I'm coming to you to talk about not about travels or anything like that, but I decided I want to share with you guys the crazy things that happen in my day to day at being a school counselor. I'm currently interning at a middle school as a school counselor, and it's just off the chain. Like for real, for real. Middle school is off the chain. Like I didn't even know this stuff wasn't happening when I was in middle school, or not that I know of, but it's a lot going on in this day and age with these sixth, seventh, and eighth graders. And I am basically a school counselor. I just don't get paid. And I think I'm going to call this another day in the life because that's what I always say to my supervisor, who is an actual school counselor of at my school. You know, she gets paid or whatever, and she's my supervisor. And that's what I always say to her. So maybe I'm going to say, this Unique News Travels TV with another day in the life. Okay. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to record every day. I'm not really sure, but stuff happens at my school, you guys. Like, for real, for real. So, like, the first day of school, a boy decides to say that he needs a gun so that he can shoot up the school and protect himself. Why? There's nothing going on to have to like protect it. It's not like a bad school or anything like that. So that's just an example of the stuff that happens in my school. Another kid said he's gonna blow up the school if he gotta go to another class. In the middle of class, screams it in the class. Another girl writes on the board. I'm sorry. I dropped my phone. Another girl writes on the board, I want to die. I mean, the things that happen, the things that are happening are quite amazing to me. So the story I want to tell you guys today, like the in-depth story I want to tell you guys today, is about one of our students who, all these people are going to be anonymous, so I'm either going to use fake names or no names at all. And so a teacher came to us and said, oh, they've been calling him by a girl's name. So let's just say Susie. So they've been calling him Susie, and let's just say his real name is Sam. So the teacher comes and says, okay, Sam has been being called Susie by some girls in the class, and she's not really sure if it's bullying or if he asks to be called this, like, maybe gay, transgender, or what's going on here, and that she would like us to look into it. So we call him down, and he's like, oh, no, I asked them, they helped me come up with the name, but I want to be called this, I want to be called that name. And we're like, okay, how long has this been going on? How long have you been feeling like this? And he basically feels like he's a girl and trapped in a boy's body. So I guess you'll say that's transgender. And he hasn't decided how he identifies, so I don't want to say how he identifies if he himself has it. But if we had to put him in a category, that's what we could put him as at the moment. And so anyway, he says this is how he feels, and he asked for them to call him that name. So we're like, okay, that's fine. Do you want us to tell? Because, like, my school is, like, real progressive and pro, like, whatever you want to do, we're going to help you do it. It's like school counselors. So we're like, okay, do we need to tell your teachers? Do you want your teachers to call you this as well? Have you spoken to your parent about it? He's like, no, he hasn't told his mom yet, but he's been thinking about it. He's not to the point where he needs his teacher to call him by that name, but he likes the name, and that's the name that makes him feel good. So we're okay, cool. If anything changes, let us know. Yada, yada, yada. So then, a few days later, he comes back. He said, oh, I told my mom about it. She's okay with it. She's very supportive. Blah, blah. I have this dress in my laptop bag that I've been hiding, and I plan to wear it to school on Monday because next week is my birthday. So we're like, okay. So he pulls out the dress, he shows it to us and everything. He's like, oh, one of the girls, the same girls who gave him the name, what did I say the fake name was? Stacy? Susie? Whatever. The same name that one of those girls gave him the dress. So we're like, okay, well, are you sure, this is something you want to do? If you want to, that's fine. But basically, we're trying to hint along the lines of there's no going back if you decide to come to school on Monday dressed this way. If only these few people know about it, everybody's going to know, basically. So are you ready for that? And the reason we all, we're proceeding with caution is because the teacher comes back to us and informs us that she feels like these girls are kind of pressuring him into wearing the dress, having this girl's name, yada, yada, yada. And he's like a real nerdy kid, and these girls are the popular mean girls. So they, so they don't... She basically is trying to figure out, is this something he really wants to do, or is he being pressured into doing it? And he has these, cool girls who are his friends and who are hanging out with him, and he's never had that before. So we're like, okay, we'll try to see. It's very hard to get anything out of him. So we're like, okay, we're going to try to see what we can find out and get out of him. And she basically was like, well, the conversation that she overheard was him telling them that he was gay. And they were asking him, well, which one are you? Are you the man? Are you the woman? And as if, it's just not two men, whatever. So he said, I guess he would be the woman because he's more feminine. So she feels like this might all be stemming from that conversation. And like he's being pushed into feeling like he has to choose, when that's not the case. It could just be two gay men, period. You don't have to do all the things that he is now trying to do. So we talked to him about it, and then we go a step further and we talk to his mom about it. And she's like, oh, I'm going to try. We basically tell her the concerns that the teacher brought to us. And she's basically like, oh, okay, I'm going to try to, talk to him about it to find out more information, yada, yada, yada. Well, okay. Monday comes. He has a dress on. Okay? So I come in, and my supervisor's like, oh, he has a dress on. Sam has a dress on. And I'm like, okay, well, does he is it just a dress? Not to say just a man in a dress, but did he just put the dress on, or did he do his hair, his makeup? What's happening? So she's like, no, he just literally wears a dress and comes to school. He didn't change anything about himself. He just put the dress on. So I'm like, oh, all right. So she's like, I was waiting to call him down because I know you wanted to, talk to him and check out and see what's going on or whatever. So she calls him down. He comes down. No, before she gets to call him down, the vice principal comes in and he's like, yo, you need to talk to Sam because he is walking around the hallway standing at attention. If you don't know what that means that his penis is standing up as he's walking around in this dress. So, this is his first time. We found out later he hadn't done any research. And so obviously he doesn't know anything about tucking or the things that you need to do when you decide to wear a dress as a man or whatever. So, or a female, however he wants to identify, So she's like, my supervisor's like, what? I don't know what to say. I don't know how to, talk to him about it and yada, yada, yada. So he's like, well, you're going to have to do it, the vice principal. So we call him down. And lo and behold, when he comes in the door, that's the first thing to hit the door before his body get through the door. Okay, is his penis. And I'm just like, does he not know this? Does his friends, that these girls haven't said anything to him and told him, what is happening, So he gets in there and he's very, socially awkward, and he's, obsessed with maps, and he only wants to talk about maps, and it's hard to get him to really talk about anything. He just kind of laughs nervously. He doesn't really say much. So the supervisor basically decided she not gonna say nothing to him. She nah. So I tried to say a little bit, but I don't want to. I want to respect the school. I don't want to press any boundaries. I don't know what their policy is on having certain discussions with students. So as he's talking or whatever, and he's talking about how he was up late last night watching some videos on YouTube, and I was like, oh, did you watch any videos about wearing dresses or what it takes to, dress as a female, or, just trying to hint towards the things you need to do, like tucking or proper undergarments to wear, or whatever the case may be, when you decide to wear a dress or dress as a female. And he's like, no, he's never done any research. He hasn't watched any videos. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I think you should watch some videos and check it out. You might find it interesting. He's like, okay, I might do that or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. So my supervisor, she kind of goes to like, okay, so is this a thing you think you're gonna do all the time? Is this gonna be like an everyday thing now? Are you gonna change your undergarments again to hint towards, maybe not wearing boxers or whatever he's wearing? You know what I'm saying? Like something that's a little more dress appropriate. And he's like, oh no, I'm still wearing the same undergarments, but we notice he has like a bra on underneath the dress. You could like see the outline of it or whatever. But I guess his underwear is still like boy underwear. But one of his friends gave him this bra. Y'all. So it was just very difficult to deal with, you guys. So that was that. Then the next day he comes, he has another dress on. And he was told he got actually sent to the office because the dress was too low cut. So even though he doesn't have any boobs, his chest is like very low, like V. And they're like, okay, if you want to wear this dress, you have to abide by the same dress code rules that the girls have to abide by. I'm sitting in my car, you guys, so it might be kind of loud. I just got out of school, so I just wanted to get this story. Anyway, so they made him put on a sweatshirt. Again, still standing at attention, you guys. Okay, so I'm like, did you watch those videos I was telling you about? No, I didn't do it. And I'm like, thinking in my head, it's quite obvious because you're still doing what, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how you have these friends and nobody's telling you anything, or do you just not care? I'm like, I don't know. And when I asked the supervisor and stuff about it, she's like, no, we can't talk about like their private parts with them like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's against, like, she can't do that. We can't do that. So I can't just come out and tell him. Like, if I could, I would. Like, I'm not, she's like very squeamish about things like that. But I would just say, hey, blah, 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 blah. But she basically informed me, no, we can't do that. So I understand that at school, you don't want to get a parent like, oh, you were talking to my son about his dingling. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So this is a developing situation. So then his birthday comes, which just passed, and he doesn't come to school. Then the next day, he doesn't come to school again. So now she's kind of worried. So she asked him, has he had any bullying? Has anything happened? And he's like, no, everything's been fine. There was some shocked faces, but no one has said anything mean to him, yada, 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 this and the third. So it turns out, though, that those mean girls, the very first day he wore his dress, made a big announcement. One of them, who I see every week as my own special case, made a big announcement in the cafeteria. Basically, nobody better not say nothing negative or nothing bad about him, or they're going to have to answer to her and her crew. And like I said, they are the 8th grade popular mean girls. So they basically threatened everybody loudly at breakfast in the cafeteria. So I'm like, okay, that kind of explains why no one has said or done anything. And of course, it could just be like mature students, but I doubt that the whole school would, like, you know what I'm saying, there's usually one at least that's gonna like do something immature, but no one has done anything, according to him anyway, and we haven't gotten any reports about anything negative happening to him, so that's great. So basically this is just a developing situation, so I'll give you more updates about what happens with that. So he comes back to school and he comes to the office today, and he has on like boy clothes again, but he has on this bra, and I guess he decided to put tissue in it. So now he like his boobs. And he's walking around, and I don't want to laugh, but it's just kind of like, it's a little amusing to me. And I'm an LGBT woman, and it's just interesting to me to watch. I'm LGBT woman. I fall in, on that category and things like that. So it's just interesting to me to watch it all unfold right before my eyes, like the things that kids go through, who are still figuring out who they are and what they like and what they don't like. So I was asking some questions like, does he feel differently today? Did he feel better wearing the dress than he did? Because we're still trying to figure out Is it something he wants? Is it something his friends are pushing him to do? You know, he wants to be a part of popular crowd. They might want a GBF, a gay best friend. You know, they have that whole movie on Netflix and everything. It could be something like that. So I'm like trying to ask some questions, like, you know, not to discredit him. It could all be, you know, exactly what it is, and it doesn't have anything to do with these girls. And maybe the girls are finally giving, you know, making him feel like he could finally be himself and not have to be afraid. You know, maybe they're just really helping him come out of his shell, and it's nothing like that. But we're still trying to figure it out. And so I was asking him some questions like, oh, how does it feel when you like wear the dress? Does it feel, or when you wore, you know, your girl clothes, did you feel, you know, how did you feel compared to when you wear your boy clothes? And he's like, oh, it's almost pretty much the same. And okay, how long have you been having these feelings like you want to dress like a girl and be a girl? Oh, like a month now. So, and of course, you know, he's in 8th grade. They're all in 8th grade. So, you know, not to say that people can't late in life come to some realizations of their own, but you know, in the norm for transgenders is their whole life they felt like they were like in the wrong body or something like that, whereas he's like, oh, only a month ago he discovered or he decided or whatever the case may be. And not to say that that cannot happen. I'm sure it has. I'm sure there are cases that have happened. And I also found out about this non-binary thing, and maybe he's non-binary, and which is when they don't want to be said he or she, but they want to be like called them and they or something like that. So I mean, it's just a whole spectrum of things, and I you know, I'm really learning a lot because I didn't even know what non-binary was. So it could be something like that where, you know, he feels good in both the clothes. He doesn't mind wearing, you know, either one. And I could tell he was like super comfortable in his girl clothes though, or super comfortable in that bra and everything, standing at attention at all. He just seemed like he didn't have a care in the world. He was smiling a lot. So even though he couldn't like express out of his mouth, oh, this makes me feel good, it kind of showed on his face. So yeah, you guys, this is Unique with Unique Travels TV with another day in the life. And you guys just let me know what you think about this. Think about this story. Think about this series I might come up with if you want to hear more. You know, I just want to be making it to be talking to myself, and nobody really cares about this content because I know I'm a travel what do you call it, travel videos. So I know I do travel videos, so I don't want to like just totally switch it up on y'all and you guys are not interested in what I'm talking about. So just let me know, leave any questions, comments down below, and I'll check you guys later. Maybe if something else happens tomorrow. I mean, I have so many stories that has happened that I can't even remember, so that's another reason why I want to make these videos, so I can look back, you know, because this is my first year. I'm just an intern. 10 years from now and watch like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened and stuff like that. So it's also for me too, but I could just make these videos private if it's just gonna be for me. But I'll make this one public, and you guys can let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and all that good stuff.